All right, greetings and salutations. Another episode of Fangs Up here, and man, it's been a fun week here at Florida A&M University. If y'all can see, we've changed the setup just a little bit for this week only, hopefully. Uh, but just because we have just a lot going on, just not just in the university, but at home as well. But what a week it has been in FAMU athletics, and I am, for one, fortunate to be able to witness it and to watch it and to be able to
Listen
listen
to
to
it. And oops, y'all see the sound.
which is me in the background there. And again, FAMU has been doing a lot, especially on the recruiting trail as well as on the football area and all aspects related to athletics. I'm gonna take that right one out of my ear because it's not acting right. And I ain't got no time for stuff that don't act right. But again, I've been super excited about it. And if you missed Coach Pillow's interview yesterday on ONG Strike Zone, you actually missed a treat. And we have no link or partnership with them. They're just good people, and we get to talk to them periodically about what's going on at the university. But I loved how matter of fact Coach Pillow was. He was extremely honest. Some people may not like it, but I appreciate the fact that she was able to keep it 100 with us the whole time. And I'll take that over you lying to me any day of the week. All right. So we're gonna start off with is if I can pull up the show notes, which of course they will be going slow, but we're also kind of in the midst or the end of here, so it's partially why. So that is not by the window, so I don't get struck by lightning. You're not like me. You're not from Florida. You may not have had lightning strike things that you like through the window. Had to kill an Xbox once. All right, but today's episode, we're going to focus on the defensive back room, and I'm going to talk about some of the major DBs that are returning that you need to know about. And we're also going to talk a little bit about that Albany State game. That's going to be something for you to be able to look forward to. I may have to change the title of this just to make sure it matches. Y'all know I keep the extra screen normally on the right, but this time it's on my left. Probably going to move it over. But basketball is a big thing. And the first thing, MJ Randolph was on the NBA HBCU showcase, and that gave him an opportunity to showcase his skills in front of professional scouts and coaches and things like that. And if you are not aware, MJ did sign with a agent. Sorry, he won't be coming back next year. Unfortunately, he was. Mm, I almost said probably, but probably would have been a lie. He was the most dominant scorer on the team, and he was really the catalyst for much of the team's success. And he helped to serve as one of the glue guys, probably one of the most important people on the roster that assisted with helping the team win last year. And to me, as a fan, I appreciate it because FAMU basketball has not been relevant in a long time. And to see this program grow into what it became last year was awesome. And it was exciting as a fan. And you're also able to see that that potentially helped in recruiting, which goes back to something Coach Pillow was saying yesterday. When you win more games, you might draw more talent. But the showcase was on July the 11th, 3 days ago, at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas's Thomas and Mack Center. That is where they used to play basketball. I don't know if they still do or not. They may have moved on to the new T-Mobile Center down there in fabulous Las Vegas. Now, again, part of what this episode is definitely talking about is some of the offers and the students that have been offered by Florida A&M University, and one of which is going to be Cameron Keys. And Keys is, of course, man, computers move slow when it's lightning. He's a 2024 recruit from, if you're like me, from Northwest Florida. We tend to say Lynn Haven Mosley High School, but it's just Mosley High School. You don't have to say Lynn Haven if you do not desire to do so. But we say Lynn Haven Mosley. But to shorten that up, the school's next to Panama City. And he's a 6'1" defensive back from the class of 2024. And what I'm hoping that'll pull up is his huddle film. I'm trying to get into doing a little bit of more of that. I'm not going to do like some of these other folks and review the huddle film and tell you what dude's good and what dude's not. I'm just gonna share out what's going on and how the players are doing and just show some film if you haven't seen it, because one of the things the students tend to like is for you to draw some attention towards them. And actually, I had a young man say, "Hey, can you share this?" And I was like, "Nah, not really, because you hadn't been offered by FAM. Not because I don't like it, but I don't want to seem like I'm actually recruiting for the university. I just cover the sport." But Cameron Keys, class 24, you can see it hopefully on your screen there, waiting on it. Ah, man, it would act funny when I'm in front of company. Y'all know how stuff acts when you trying to do stuff for your friends and trying to show off. Stuff want to act funny. Let's see if I can get it on the double screen if I change my layout. But Cameron is a 2024 recruit, and of course we have technical difficulties at the wrong time. But I think this is a great thing for FAMU. Continue to reach into the Florida Panhandle, an important recruiting ground for the Rattlers. It's important. It's something that you need. It's something that you have to have happen. You have to take care of home, as Dave Hollister, the fabulous singer, would say. If you take care of home, you don't have to worry about your girl. And this is one of those cases. Lynn Haven Mosley did provide FAMU with a recruiter to this past offseason, and we want to continue to foster that relationship and continue to build that because that's in our backyard. And those students are very close and easily drawn to FAMU, and their families are able to attend the game. Panama City is about 45 minutes, maybe an hour from Tallahassee if you know what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you how fast or how fast I drive or how long it's taking me to get to Panama City, but in my experience, I've done it in an hour or less. But again, I knew where I was going. I was taught by somebody from Panama City, like, go this way. I was like, oh, okay. So that is a potential offer right there, 2024. So don't get too excited about it, y'all. He's got a few years. He's going to grow. He's probably going to get stronger, be in the weight room some more, and do some more amazing things. Another guy that we got offered, at least, was Marquez Montgomery, 6'5, 205-pound wide receiver from Snow College. He's a 2023 recruit, and his film looks pretty solid. A lot of jump balls, a lot of Randy Moss types things are going on there. So you're going to see where they throw the ball, and it's what my friend Quentin used to say, "Go get it, Roy," which I hated. But Quentin is a good guy, though. But it was a jump ball, and you see that quite a bit often. He's able to utilize his size and his strength to really outmuscle the competition and to be able to take advantage of the fact that he's bigger and taller than them. And that's what should happen. Those guys that are taller are able to do certain things that us shorter people can't do. And yes, I said us. I am below 6 feet tall. I'm 5'8", 5'9" if you got me in some heels, in my church dress shoes. But that's just one of those things where the height that that player has is a really good thing. Really, since I stopped talking about him. So this was Cameron Keys' film. Again, there we go. So this is just a little short thing. You can see Cameron out there in the corner, and I'm looking at the same thing you're looking at. And ooh, that's my first time seeing. He laid that wood on him. I'm gonna show another second, another player of him playing corner. And again, this is the guy's huddle, so I'm not trying to steal the kids or anything. I'm just trying to give you a couple visuals of what he does. Looks like he's about to lay the boom. Let's see what he does here. And decent coverage. I mean, I didn't see him looking at the ball or anything, but he was there. He stopped the guy from catching the ball. That's the point of playing cornerback. You're not supposed to let the guy catch the ball over you. And so again, that was just some of the film of Cameron Keys. Hopefully, as technology and the weather improves here in Florida, that I'm able to show more of that. Again, Marquez Montgomery, the 6'5" receiver. I'm gonna see if I can pull up his film as well, if it'll cooperate with me. Had it ready to go, but again, it's the internet, and that's my fault. Not gonna blame the computer when I just blame myself. pull up Marquette's film. So y'all see what I was talking about. I'd much rather you see something for yourself than for you to just to depend on my word, even though I feel like I'm a trustworthy person. Think y'all can trust me at this point. Y'all see this orange and green on the shirt. Here we go. And so 6'5", they list him as 200 pounds. Let's see if it'll come up. But again, he's a tall receiver, kind of rangy. And what you're able to see in his film, if you choose to look at his huddle, is his ability to use his height. And you're able to see the quarterbacks use the throw motion as far as hitting the receiver, hitting the open man, and being able to take advantage of the fact that you have a 6'5" receiver who can tower over the competition. And another guy that FAMU is going to offer is going to be Marquez Phillips, 6'2", wide receiver from Virginia State University. He originally went to Eastern High School in Washington, D.C. He's a transfer receiver. Actually, when I first listed his announcement, I actually marked him as a DB. And to his credit, he messaged me and said, I'm a receiver. I was like, oh, snap, my bad. I made an honest mistake. So I appreciate him correcting me. I'm not above reproach, and I do not mind being corrected when I make a mistake. But I wasn't able to see any current film on him from Virginia State, and that's not because it doesn't exist, but that is just because I didn't see it. I did see some of his high school film. It is also on Huddle, and you're able to see hopefully that 6'2", 185 transfer from Virginia State hopefully has a good measure of speed as well as the ability to transition to a high level of football. Even though Virginia State they play pretty solid competition in the CIAA, not all the teams are making the playoffs, but you're playing against Bowie, and Bowie State was running that conference for the past longest. Another recruit that FAMU offered, Christopher Williams. He's a local kid, 6'5", 350 on 50 pounds, depending on who you talk to. Some services say 350, some say less. But he's an offensive lineman, and he attends Rickards High School in Tallahassee, Florida. And Rickards is literally around the corner from FAMU, second, maybe third closest high school to the city. Obviously, FAMU DRS is the closest school to the campus. But he originally went to Florida State University as a preferred walk-on, and he's going to leave FSU. He's enters the transfer portal, and almost immediately, FAMU offers him, and his film is pretty solid. If this thing wasn't acting weird, I'd pull it up, but I don't want to fill up the space with bad audio or video of you kind of waiting on me to pull up the film. But I may share it up there on the Twitter page. Yeah, trying to think out loud, like Facebook. I really don't use the FQ or the Things Up Twitter page yet. I mean, YouTube, Facebook. There we go, Facebook page yet. But we're gonna work on that. Next one is Brandon Winton Jr., 6 foot, 175-pound athlete from IMG, 2024 recruit. And y'all got to forgive me. That thing threw me off. But Winton, I don't think we get him just because partially he is an IMG kid. And normally, FAMU does not get those students off the first crack. It would be great if we did. I think that's one of the things and initiatives of the recruiting group, the coaching staff, and those that are related to FAMU athletics for us to be able to start bringing in those 3 and 4 star prospects and the 5 star prospects. I mean, let's be honest, they want and we want as a fan base to get the best players in here. We love the players that we have. I'm a huge fan of Rashawn McKay. I like the guy that he is. Y'all, I'm gonna fix this chair real quick because it's sliding down. Um, but I'm also a fan of Junior and all those other guys that we have coming in there and that are already here. Musa, I like our quarterback room if you haven't been able to tell. I also enjoy our receiving core. I like how hungry they are. I appreciate the videos they post on social media. Also, Goss, the tight end transfer. He posted a video and he looks solid. Hopefully, he stays healthy. And I like seeing those kind of things. And we want to continue to get that top level talent at Florida A&M University. And in order to do that, recruiting has to continue to do what it does. And what recruiting does at FAMU is work to sign the best players out there. And I'm going to switch this thing because I had a notification telling me, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to show the huddle. That's fine. I've given up on that. But Torrey Q. Bateman, a 6'8", 305-pound lineman. He transferred from Louisville and Troy. He's from Gaston, Alabama, Gaston City, Alabama High School. And he's signed, sealed, delivered, and committed. That's a huge get for FAMU. FAMU's offensive line was very good last year as far as the run game and things like that. And one of the things Willie Simmons said on Off Script Show was something that I thought I was one of the few people that noticed during the season. And then come later on in the season, I realized I wasn't. But FAMU did best when we ran the ball. When we threw the ball excessively or a lot, we did not win games. The games where we had to throw the ball a lot, we lost. Whether it was the Jackson State game where honestly it rains right before kickoff. I mean, I remember walking into the stadium and I was like, oh man, this is gorgeous. This is cool. That was my first time at Hard Rock Stadium. I almost said Dolphin Stadium. And then as soon as we get to our seats, it starts raining. And it's like, oh crap. How's this gonna work with the passing game? We got a new quarterback, things like that. And it didn't work out well. I mean, McKay struggled, and later on we get Junior in the game, and I think McKay does better this year. I'll say that candidly. I think if you look at what transpired over the course of last football season, McKay grew exponentially. Like he became a effective passer, much better at managing the game, which is really what Coach Simmons said when he was talking off script, that McKay got better as the season got along, and that FAMU was at its best when we ran the ball. Those are not things to be argued with. But he also pointed out that the best teams in FCS football tend to be run heavy. They do throw the ball, and a lot of them do run the ball from the shotgun or the pistol or some of those formations. But when you're looking at University of North Dakota, they got 300-pound offensive linemen that are making a way, and the running backs running through it, and he's probably 200 some pounds. It's not an overly complicated system, and it's not an overly complicated concept that the run game travels, and so does defense. And when you have a good defensive line, it makes life a lot easier for the defensive backs. Mentioning the defensive backs, FAMU's got some really good DBs. It's a place that if you're a FAMU fan, you're confident in. You're not even asking who is going to play corner, who's going to play safety. You probably don't care because they're all good. And the unquestioned leader in the secondary is BJ Bowler. He's number 11. He's a 5'9" corner. He weighs 180 pounds. He's a senior. He transferred from Mercer, and he attended Ocoee High School. I ride my bike past that place all the time. And he played in 12 games, 41 solo tackles, 11 assisted tackles, 52 tackles, meaning he averaged about 4.3 tackles per game, 4 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovered. And to me, his most notable performance that really sticks out in the psyche of most FAMUans is his performance at the Florida Classic. The kid comes home and he shows out. I mean, let's just be honest about it. Ocoee is a suburb of Orlando, and the kid goes to the Florida Classic and shows his naked behind. I mean, he's shimmying, he's catching balls, he's intercepting it. I mean, he did everything but throw the Playboy sign, and he probably did that too, because that boy was all the shimmy that day. You were not gonna tell that Kappa nothing. That guy was on one, and he's got that confidence. He got that swag to him. I'm just saying, BJ Bowler is probably gonna be your number one, maybe number two corner, and depending on how tall some of the opposition's receivers are, I think he would be fun in the nickel sometimes, just to kind of put him in there. Like I like this. I like the idea of sending him on the blitz from a nickel corner spot. Like, let him kind of be that star position that players at other schools have been, that LaMarcus Joyner type guy. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a Florida State fan and a FAMU fan. Don't let this FAMU fool you. Like, I'm a Tallahassee person. I love the idea of putting that guy in a LaMarcus Joyner type spot where LaMarcus Joyner is not a tall corner or safety. And he had a pretty significant NFL career. But the fact that he was able to play both corner and safety, blitz from the corner position, and also attack and put pressure on both the quarterback as well as cover made him unique and special and allowed him to play for the I believe they were the St. Louis Rams at the time. They may have I think he may have even played when they were in Los Angeles as well. But a guy like BJ is at that right height where he's not really tall, but he's not so short that you can't put him in coverage. And to me in the NFL, I love him as a nickel corner, especially a team like the Jaguars. Honestly, any dude from FAMU, I would love to go to the Jaguars because, I mean, they're not very good. Just, but I feel like they would get a chance to play. And I feel like they would also get a chance to display their talents and to potentially make the roster. We're seeing already where I feel like if you're a team like Jacksonville or any team besides the Dallas Cowboys, you're kicking yourself for not drafting Marquise Bell. Like, the dude is over there in preseason making folks look stupid, and you had a chance to draft him and you didn't. Heck, the Cowboys didn't draft him, and shame on them for not doing so. And I'm a Cowboy fan. You can't see my little doodads over there, but I got a little cowboy star, a little buck thing. I need family to get one of those New Orleans style necklaces or beads with the logo on it. Other corner is Courtney Cox. He's number 12, 5'11", 185 from Cedar Grove High School, and he's from Decatur, where it's greater. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't sing. But that's as much lower as you're going to get from me. But he's a nice sized corner, man. Right about 6 feet tall, and he's a senior. Played in 10 games last year, 20 tackles, 6 assists, 26 total, 2.6 average tackles per game, interception and a forced fumble. And again, FAMU secondary is good. It's one of the strengths of the team. I really struggle to say FAMU has a weakness defensively at the FCS level. Now, when playing an FBS team, I cannot say the same. I feel like defensive ends may be a trouble spot just because of size. Like, a lot of those defensive ends are going to be going against offensive tackles that are 300 pounds plus, and I don't know how 245 matches up against 300. That's my own naivete. That's me saying, hey, I don't know everything, but when it comes to looking at it, I ask questions there. I think our secondary would do pretty well. I feel like the interior line would do okay. I don't know how well they hold it just because of depth. We do have a shortage of scholarship players that are available when compared to teams like the University of North Carolina, Florida State, Florida, Miami, Tennessee, on down the line. But that being said, I think they would be able to hold their own. I feel like we would be able to do well for a quarter or two, and then the game would eventually get away from us. But that's just me being honest. Another corner, and the last one that I'm going to feature for this episode is going to be Javon Morgan. He's number 2, 5'11", 185, and he is from Tallahassee, Florida, FSUS. And if you're like me from Tallahassee, I don't say FSUS. It's Florida High. It's y'all was Florida High yesterday. You were Florida High when I got here. You're gonna be Florida High when I leave this earth. You're Florida High. So, but Florida State University School, for those that are not familiar or don't know what FSUS means, just like people who say FAMU DRS, ain't no DRS. It's FAMU High. they're the baby rattlers. But Morgan is a redshirt junior, 10 games last year, 13 solo tackles, 3 assists, 16 total, 1.6 average, and 3 interceptions. What does that tell you when you look at a secondary that has a lot of interceptions? One, hopefully they spend some time on the jugs machine, meaning they can catch. And if they can catch that well, I'm surprised Florida State didn't make some offers because them receivers last year, boy. Woo. I showed cussed at the TV. I ain't even gonna lie. I had to repent a couple Sundays on that. But it tells you FAMU's defensive line is good and was good. And you see the effects of Isaiah Land being there. Isaiah Land, 19 sacks, is stupid. But then when you're providing that kind of pressure, and then on the back end, you also have Marquise Bell on the other side. You had the linebacker core. You have General Hunt, the defensive lineman. You have Savion Williams. That meant at each level of the defense, you had a potential star. And those potential stars made an impact. They were disruptive, and their disruption allowed the secondary to maximize its opportunities and to also take advantage of the quarterbacks having to rush and make mistakes. And if they can make those mistakes during this football season again, it fares very well for FAMU when they play against different competition throughout the season. Now, who is the first home game that we play? Well, it is against, I don't, are they the closest HBCU to FAMU? They might be. Albany State University, the Rams. I believe they're the Golden Rams. But last season, they had a really good season. Albany is not a long ride from Tallahassee. If you're like me, you've driven through and to Albany so many times to where it really doesn't make sense. And honestly, growing up in Tallahassee, we had three news stations, four, and one of them was the Albany news station, WALB. And it was like you would just go home, you watch the news, you see FAMU's news, you watch FSU, and then you could flip over to WALB and get Albany State too. Like we're that close to the city for where for the longest time we got news from that part of Georgia in Tallahassee. But last season, 10-2, SIAC champs. They also made the playoffs, and they're predicted to win the SIAC's Eastern Division. They just had the SIAC Media Day about a day or two ago, and you can check the social media on that. It's all over Twitter. I've liked some of the stuff. I haven't retweeted it because it doesn't relate to FAMU. Yeah, yes, I just hit my mic on accident. But they're a run heavy offense, and that kind of is coincidental, especially coming off the heels of our coach doing an interview where he says how important the run game is and how it benefits a football team to be able to run the football. And Albany State exemplifies that idea and that concept that running the ball is going to help you win games. And they're not blowing teams out by scoring 50 points a game. They're scoring by 25, 30 points. They do their thing and they win games. And that works for them. We're going to see that this game is going to be a tough one if we are not able to score and stay on schedule because the style and the way in which Albany State runs their offense is going to allow them to kind of eat away at you and the clock. They're going to wear you down. The defense is going to get tired because they're going to try to run the ball. And you're looking at these numbers by the secondary, you got cornerbacks, just your top three corners. I'm seeing what, 7 picks, 8 interceptions. I'm not throwing against that. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to throw against that a lot. Not if I am Albany State. What you want to do is run the ball, wear down FAMU's defense, hope that whoever the quarterback is, whether it's McKay, Musa, or Meritovic, that they make mistakes. And in making those mistakes, you're then additional provided additional opportunities to have the ball. I was looking for a different way to say it, a better way to verbiage it, or something like that. But it is what it is. You're just looking for more opportunities to have the ball and more time possession. Because if time possession favors you, the likelihood of you winning goes up. And if you're Albany State, that's what you need. Because speed for speed, you might be able to match FAMU, but I doubt it. You don't have as many scholarships as FAMU. So FAMU does have a man advantage on you. And size for size, especially on the offensive line going against their defensive line, it's very likely that you're going to have an advantage and you will have an advantage. It is what it is. And so going into the game, Albany State's defense is pretty stout. They gave up 20 points twice last season. Both times they gave up 20 points, they lost. So what's the magic number? 25. If you get 25 points, you're going to win this game. And I think this game is closer than a lot of people think. I don't think it's going to be a blowout yet, just because I haven't seen our offense. I got to see our offense at the Orange Blossom Classic. Well, the game against, yeah, Orange Blossom Classic, UNC. I want to see what we look like in those games, and then I'll have a better idea of what we are. Right now, from what I've seen in the preseason, I'm intrigued. I see a lot of work with the quarterbacks and the receivers doing one-on-ones, the tight ends. How much are we going to use the tight ends? We had the tight end special a few weeks ago, and the question that I asked was, are we going to utilize our tight ends? Because we didn't last year. I think as a unit, they caught less than 200 yards worth of passes, and I think we had 5 touchdowns, something in that nature. So you're not talking about an explosive unit. You're talking about a unit that has potential, especially because you just added a big time transfer at the tight end position. But then does he flex the receiver? That's an idea. The guy can play receiver as well as tight end, and especially with those guys that he's bigger than, maybe you take advantage of a safety or a linebacker. That's a good matchup. And Goss looks good. I'm just saying. I think that's a good opportunity. Now, what do I think? uh, you just came off the University of North Carolina, just came off of the Orange Blossom Classic, first home game of the season, and it's gonna be hot as fish grease out there. It's gonna be hot. I hope that game's not at noon, because if it is, woo Lord, some folks gonna get saved on Sunday because it's gonna be hot as hell out there on Saturday. But that is that's got to hopefully be like a 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock kick, so that way the game ends at like 8 or 9, when it's not as bad in the Florida heat, because it's still gonna be hot. But I got 31-17 right now. I think FAMU's able to score. I don't know how much we throw the ball in that game. Are we still rotating quarterbacks? Is McKay the outright starter? Has Junior made a run for it? Is Musa the starter? A lot of this depends on who your starting quarterback is, but it also depends on your utilization of your running backs, who's healthy, who's not, and who's signed and who's not. If you have some of your transfers that are supposed to be here that don't qualify or don't whatever, that's going to mess up your stable of running backs. Whereas the stable of running backs you have now are really good, but they're power backs. If you get some speed backs in there, and I think that boy Willoit, yes, sir. That guy is fast. He got that Bishop Bonnet in him, a little bit of that Percy Harvin in him. That guy that can play running back and receiver, can flex out there, create some mismatches, run the little reverse stuff, run the fake reverse where you get the defense going in motion, somebody overcommits, then you got McKay or whoever throwing to the other side of the field. It's those kind of weapon X guys. Whew, it's exciting. K Dot is still coming back. Like FAMU's got some targets and some weapons in that offense. And hopefully I'm not sharing anything that Coach Simmons thinking or hadn't already implemented, because man, I value Coach Simmons' offensive mind. He's intriguing to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I remember at the coaches camp just watching him coach the quarterbacks. I was like, all right, yeah, you know what he's doing. I like it. But again, 31-17, and that's because Albany State likes to run the ball. I think that they're going to score a touchdown or two kind of late. Game gets kind of boring early. You can leave your band in Albany. But respectfully, leave your band in Albany. But I think that it's just kind of a sleeper of a game. You're gonna have two teams that probably want to run the ball a little bit more. FAMU's gonna open up the offense just to see what does and doesn't work, and to see where we stand after UNC, Jackson State, and Albany State. I would not be surprised if this is a game where FAMU's looking for our first win. That's just being honest. I'm not gonna lie to you today. I didn't lie to you in the past. When I feel some way, I'm gonna be honest about it. This could be our FAMU saying, "Hey, 0-2, we need to win," but it could also very well be a one-on-one game and saying, "Hey, this is our chance to get over 500. Let's get on a run." Because I don't put FAMU out against Jackson State. I don't think we can not win that game. I think we can definitely go down to Miami and win that game. I feel that way. I feel like Coach Simmons is a better coach than Prime. But I think Prime can recruit his butt off. That dude, he got that. I can't take nothing from him. But I feel like Coach Simmons is a really good coach. I feel like his X's and O's are solid. I feel like he sometimes he gets a little bit into the weeds as far as the offense because he's so smart, and I feel like he's one of those people that sometimes like I don't think they I don't think they're seeing what you're seeing, but I respect him and I appreciate his confidence and his ability and willingness to try his offense. And then I also like that at times last year you saw him step back and say, okay, let me dumb it down a little bit. But how do we win this game? Clog the line of scrimmage, force them to throw the ball. They don't like to throw the ball. They throw the ball for less than 150 yards a game. That's telling you the run game's their bread and butter. I think they ran for like 200 and some yards per game off the top of my head. I did look at the stats, and it's kind of wonky on their website, but you can find it. But I think FAMU clogs the line of scrimmage. General Hunt and those guys get in early. FAMU gets a lead, and some of the freshmen and sophomores get in probably in the fourth quarter, and that's how we win the game. It kind of becomes a sleep fest by the fourth quarter. Give a few stupid touchdowns because of inexperience, but it kind of is what it is. It's a great opportunity to give guys some playing time, get a win, get a first win at home, and play a team that's local that hopefully brings their fans. They leave their band at home, but they can bring their fans. I'm being petty right now. Y'all forgive me. I do enjoy the students' ability to play or whatnot, but yeah, y'all know the 100 is not going to be playing no games. But also, the reason that you're going to want to force them to pass is the size of our secondary. Yes, BJ Bowler's 5'9". He's not a giant, but he's a playmaker. But you got a lot of 6 foot on that roster when you look at the secondary. We have tall corners. We also have very tall safeties. And we got some playmakers back there. And that transfer we got, the dude that went to Texas A&M, I don't think you want to let him get. I don't think you want to let him hit nobody. Because Buddy comes with that thump, and I think that's just something that's gonna be fun to see. Uh, so that's how we win that game though. So quick recap, y'all, before I let you go, and thank y'all for listening as always. Thank you to HBCU Digital for providing a platform that we can talk and share this information. Hopefully, got an interview on Sunday scheduled and set up. Gonna reach back out, and he's not a Seminole. Well, he is a Seminole, but he's not a Rattler. But he has strong connection to FAMU, so hopefully we can get that brother in here. But FAMU basketball, the NBA HBCU showcase, MJ Randolph was there, and mentioning basketball. Look, Coach Pillow held her own last night on ONG Strike Zone, but she also offered another player, and she gave some insight into her recruiting practices. Something that I've said on the show, she's not recruiting a lot of high school talent. She's looking to get transfer students in because she needs to win games. And if I said it once, I'll say it again. Give me 10 games and I'm happy because I'm a realist. Now, is that going to save her job? No, bro. But I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Coach gets 10 wins. I'm gonna be sitting here like, appreciate it. All right, coach. Just saying. 10 wins coming off of the 4-win season. That's double digits. You doubled your win percentage. You doubled your amount of wins and added two. I'm just saying that you ain't Jesus, but you just multiplied. Football, FAMU football got some more offers out there. Coach Rich is crazy. Coaches out there putting in that work, and I appreciate it. I, for one, appreciate it. Coach Smitty Rock, Coach Smith, uh, coach, all the coaches on the football staff. I really appreciate, and I like the change because we've seen guys like Cameron Keys, Montgomery Phillips, and Williams get offered, but we're also seeing Bateman sign a big offensive lineman that we need. FAMU is going to need an offensive line that is going to be able to do some things, and I personally believe this could be me, but I feel like from listening to Coach Simmons' interview that the run game is going to be a bigger emphasis as time passes for Florida A&M University. I feel like we are able to see that the days of throwing the ball all around the field are not over, but we're seeing a shift in football. And I think others have stated that football ebbs and flows, and once one thing becomes popular, then things shift. For the longest time, the passing game has become popular. Everybody throws the ball, and then you see teams like the Tennessee Titans. They run the ball, and they make the playoffs, and they have deep runs in the playoffs. And now you're going to see other teams try to mimic that, get a big back, run the ball, probably get away from passing, and then it's going to ebb and flow back and forth. We're seeing this kind of take place here at FAMU, where, okay, let's sign some linemen, let's get the offensive and defensive line straight, because everybody's saying that these SWAC offensive and defensive lines can be had. And we saw last year when we ran the ball, we won. I think that continues. Top defensive backs. Do I have to say BJ Bowler's name? Do I have to? I'm gonna say it because that thing says Ocoee High School, and I ride past that place like every day. But BJ Bowler, the Shimeon playboy from Kappa Alpha Psi, that gentleman is a beast, and his oof, that interception in the Florida Classic is probably my favorite. But that one against Mississippi Valley State was might have been the nicest one if you're just looking at like, ooh, that was a good catch. But BJ Bowler, Courtney Cox, JVM Morgan, all players that in the FAMU secondary, you need to know them. I miss the kickers. I'm gonna get the kickers next game and give you three more DBs you need to know about. And then Albany State, the 10-2 SIAC champions, playoff football team. And congratulations to Albany State. That football program has seen a nice resurgence, and I hope they're able to keep that coach because anybody with a dollar's worth of sense knows that they're sitting on a gold mine because that dude has transformed that program. I almost said transferred, but I think FAMU wins the game. I think it's, as the words of Lee Corso, closer than the experts think. But I think that because they like to run the ball. If they just wanted to throw the ball all over the field, I think we dog walk them boys. But the fact that they are going to be a ball control offense means that they're going to slow the game down. And I feel like the first play of the game is a play action because we know they want to run the ball. I just wouldn't be surprised if they just run a play action, maybe even a bootleg. Because if you can get a mobile quarterback on a bootleg, that means that that quarterback, if you mess up in coverage, could potentially just run the ball. He ain't got to throw it. Just an idea. Keep your eyes out for it. But I think FAMU wins the game, and I feel like FAMU has a winning season. I feel like at the end of the season, we might lose 2 to 3 games. We got a couple sleepers on there. We'll talk about them later, especially Southern. I was mad last night when they were like, "Yep, Southern's my sleeper." Like, shut up. I didn't talk to you. We didn't have that conversation. But I think Southern might be a sleeper. Southern and Alabama A&M are two teams. Ooh, and we play both of them. And I hope we beat Southern. That game is always awesome. Best environment in the SWAC. Mm, best home and home environment in the SWAC on this side of Mississippi. I'm just saying. Ugh, that game is so much fun. That rivalry is so much fun. Ugh, I love playing Southern. and I love beating them even more. Like that's a rivalry right there. Like I anticipate playing them. I'm excited about that. That's probably my second favorite game in the SWAC this year. But that being said, y'all, we're gonna end the show there. We're gonna do our next episode Sunday, 8:30. So if you're not familiar, Thursdays we go at 8, Sundays we go at 8:30, just so that we can kind of keep some consistency and get ready for football season. Because what we're not gonna do is an immediate live recap, and I don't like get to see the coaches or the fifth quarter. Because I'm gonna try to get some band footage. I got to talk to somebody at the band to see can I get an okay for that? Because I'm not selling it. I just want to show the people how awesome it is on campus during the football games. So that being said, y'all, thank y'all for listening. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate y'all dealing with the transition or the changing of the studio. We're gonna get our old studio back. Honestly, this is gonna be my lightning studio. If it's lightning outside, I ain't gonna be at the other place because I ain't getting struck by lightning. I like y'all, but not that much. So that being up, as always, y'all, FAMU is the best university on the planet. There's nothing you can do to change my mind about that. And it is always gonna be things up.